Good day, students. Today we're going to look at solution to another one of your practice exercises. This is for an exercise G found on page 31 in chapter 6 of book 3 of your ma1025 booklets. Now, as you can see, the instruction just says simplify, but you can see what you have to do. You're multiplying two large exponential expressions, so let's get right to it. Now, the first thing I like to do always is examine each base and make sure it has its own exponent. For example, the number 3 in front right there has no exponent written in, so it's understood to be 1. Okay, so I like to write in any exponents that are missing. The 9 is missing 1, the 2 here, and the 2 here. So it looks like I have, yeah, and all the variable bases have exponents, so that's good. Now, we know the rule: when you multiply in on an exponent, of course, it's 2 times the 1, 2 times the 7, 2 times the 5, power to power. 2 times this 1, times this 3, and so on, right? Let's get rid of all that bit of mess there. Okay, so we have now 3 to the power of 1 times 2, which is 2. X to the power. Now, it's all multiplied, so I don't need to put that sign in. Multiply sign, I could just write them next to each other. 7 times 2, that's 14. Y to the 5 times 2, that's 10. All over 2 to the power of 2. X to the power of 3 times 2, which is 6. Y to the 2 times 2, which is 4. So the first one is done. Multiplied by, and this fraction becomes 9 to the power of 1 times negative 2. X to the negative 8 times negative 2, that's positive 16. Y to the 9 times negative 2, that's negative 18. All over 2 to the power of 1 times negative 2, that's negative 2. X to the 4 times negative 2, which is negative 8. And Y to the negative 7 times negative 2, which is positive 14. Now consider this to be one big fraction, right? Same idea, because it's multiplied in between. So going across to the numerators now, I'm going to simplify the numerators. I'll put my numbers out front. 3 squared times 9 to the negative 2. Alright, and on bottom, 2 squared times 2 to the negative 2. I like to move my numbers out in front when I'm multiplying. Now, I'm also going to simplify here in this step. I see x to the 14 times x to the 16. Now, x to the 14 times x to the 16. And when you multiply like bases, you know what you have to do. You have to add exponents. So it's 14 plus 16. So this is going to be x to the 30. So rather than write it down again separately, I'm going to join those together as x to the 30. And the same thing with y to the negative 10, or positive 10 times y to the negative 18. That's going to give me y to the negative 8. 10 plus negative 18 is negative 8. Down on bottom, I can see now I moved this number out front, just like I moved the 9 to the negative 2 out front. Now I'm going to combine these. X to the 6 times x to the negative 8. Now again, add your exponents. So that's x to the 6 plus negative 8. That's x to the negative 2. Now I have y to the 4 times y to the positive 14, both positive. Adding those, I'll get y to the positive 18. Now we're getting closer. Still not totally simplified. Now here's where I like to move exponents. Okay, I like to move exponents and make anything positive now, right? So I can. It's easier to deal with positive exponents when subtraction, less chance for mistakes. So now I'm going to move any negative exponents. Okay. Now notice the 3 squared on top, positive. Leave that alone. But the 9 to the negative 2 is, that's a negative exponent, so I'm going to move this expression down. We've talked about that in a previous video, so that becomes 9 to the positive 2. On top, I still got x to the positive 30. Now, so I'm going to circle each one I move. So I move that one. I'm going to move this one. So both of those come down. But 2 of these has to be moved up as well. They both have negative exponents. So this 2 squared stays the same. I'll write that down. There's a, right, 2 to the positive, negative 2 moved up. I'll put that out front. 2 to the positive 2. So that's this one came up front here. Right? Now I have x to the negative 2, that needs to come up to be x to the positive 2, right? See that? Left on bottom I still have y to the 18. See that? That's positive, it stays. And this one of course has to come down. That becomes y to the positive 8. Okay? So now again, you don't have to do it this way. There's other ways you could tackle it. Some people do all the numbers at once and do them on the calculators. Different ways you can tackle this. Okay, let's move up here now to our fourth step. Now you can start simplifying, but oh, look what we see. 2 squared over 2 squared. So that'll cancel. They'll just cancel, won't they? That takes care of that. I'm going to do the 3 squared, which we know is 9. X, now it's x to the 30 times x to the 2, so multiplying these two I will get x to the 30 plus 2, which is 32. And on bottom I get 9 squared, which is 81. And I get y to the 18 plus 18, which is 26. Now we're just about done. There's no variable simplifying left to do, right? But I certainly can reduce 9 over 81, because if you divide 9 by 9 you get 1. If you divide 81 by 9 you get 9. So that reduces to 1 over 9. And I'll repeat my variables. Now you could leave your answer like that. This would be perfectly correct. And again, if you're not sure how to reduce 9 over 81, you know some people use the calculator to do it. They'll go to a fraction and then change it back, or to go to a decimal then change it back to a fraction to reduce. But you should see that 9 it goes into 81 9 times. So you can leave your answer like this. This would be perfectly correct. You would get full marks. But most people rewrite it one more step to remove the 1. It's understood, and ones that are understood are usually taken out of the final answer. So it looks to be x to the power of 32 over 9y to the 26. So there's your final answer. Alright, hopefully that gives you some insight how to do this. That's it for now. Over and out.